Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Along for the Ride, and a bit has happened since we test drove that Sasquatch Bronco. Since then I've actually ordered my Tesla Model Y and test drove another Bronco, something more about what I was looking at originally at a different dealerships. Today what we're going to do is I'm going to go head down to a good friend of mine, Eric, and he's got a Model Y, 5 years old, with a hitch on it. So we're actually going to hook up the SeaDoo. I've got it hooked up to the back of the truck right now. We're going to hook it up to his and then drive down to a place that I normally launch from and just see what it looks like putting it in the water. I don't know if we're gonna put it in the water. We might go for a bit of a spin. It's a beautiful day today, but just see if we can get it in the water. One thing after I ordered the Tesla, I actually had a bit of a nightmare where I was trying to launch the SeaDoo and couldn't do it. And I don't think there's gonna be any issues pulling it out or pushing it in or anything like that. The key is gonna be the ground clearance on the Model Y. Obviously this truck and the Bronco, which is why I went and drove that other Bronco, have a much higher ground clearance. And some of the places that we launch are a little, I wouldn't say sketchy, but they're not quite like marinas. I mean, there's places we can launch in marinas, but the one place we do go to quite a bit, Port Elgin, we launched us off to the corner, and with the truck, I'm driving like in 30, 40 feet with the truck, and I'm not in the water, and then the SeaDoo finally gets in the water. Well, with the Model Y, the ground clearance is going to be a lot less, so that's going to be something we need to check today. So that's all we're going to do. We'll just get some footage of kind of how far we get in and what the SeaDoo looks like in the water, and then just pull her back out and head back to his place. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure what I'm expecting to happen today, or even what I want to have happen. Driving that other Bronco yesterday was actually a good experience. A lot less sluggish than the Sasquatch. Can't believe the Sasquatch in terms of that tire system and what it does for just the takeoff of the vehicle. And when you're comparing it to an electric vehicle, especially the Tesla, I'm not even talking about power, but just that smooth takeoff that you get from a Tesla right from the get-go is amazing. I mean, even the truck, it's got the same 2.7 liter. There's a bit of a hesitation, even when you're just kind of driving, you hear the motor kind of rev up, but then it finally starts to go kind of idea, that ICE thing, it's what it is. But with direct drive motors, they just go, and it's really smooth. So we'll get some footage on the way in. I'm gonna show you what it looks like with the SeaDoo behind the truck here, and then we'll compare it to what it looks like with the SeaDoo behind the Model Y, because I'm guessing it's gonna be pretty high. I know I've got a high trailer. This trailer is a little bit different. It's one of those 2-for-1s. The SeaDoos do sit a bit higher on it than they do on a regular trailer. So I know I've got that to deal with, and that's why we end up getting in the water a little further every time when we're doing the launching. So I should get off the road here. I just pulled over into the shade to do this. So let's get going and we'll show you what it looks like when we get there. I'm not even sure you can see the SeaDoo in that back window. Something weird going on there. It is back there. What's nice about pulling it with the truck is I can even see over the SeaDoo and still have some rear view understanding of what's behind the vehicle. So we'll see what it looks like in the Tesla. You're good. Like that's, I mean, you could go a little bit further, but you're almost in the water, so I don't think there's an issue there.
Not like the tires are just touching.
Your tires aren't even in the water yet. Yeah, right? So, oh, I would be able to push it off from there for sure. Yeah. So how slow he's pulling out. It's not even spinning. My truck doesn't even pull out that easily. That's awesome. Okay, that makes me feel good. Another video where I forgot to film an outro, partly because I'm out of practice, and the other part because I decided to take the truck out to, actually I decided to take the SeaDoo out, hook the SeaDoo back up to the truck, take it out for a ride, and hit the lake and enjoy the sunshine. It was a beautiful day. There weren't many of those days left when I did this. So some thoughts after this. Really impressed with the Model Y. Eric's Model Y is actually 5 years old, and I don't know the last time you drove on the streets of Hamilton, but the streets of Hamilton are pretty bad. And I noticed when I took the truck back to launch the SeaDoo and have the ride was how much rougher the truck was on those roads compared to his Model Y. And his Model Y needs a little bit of maintenance in terms of the A-arms and stuff, which is something I saw a couple videos on as well. But I think it's mainly because of just the roads. The roads in Hamilton are disastrous. I think if you had any vehicle driving on those roads, they would be struggling with A-arms, but certainly at the added weight of the electric vehicles are certainly putting some toll on that. So Really pleased with the actual launch of the SeaDoo off the Model Y. We didn't actually end up pushing it off the trailer when we were there, but it would have easily slid off that trailer. The difference in terms of height is really not much. It's minimal. You saw that in the video. It's only about 3 inches, and I love the way the trailer sits with his trailer hitch. If you watched my previous video, you knew I was kind of thinking I was going to need a heavy offset. His doesn't have an offset at all. Still sat pretty level with the trailer, and we were able to get into the water. Still going to have some issues where it's not great launching ability in terms of Port Elgin and some of the other places. We're definitely going to have to find some other places to launch, or use the Pathfinder when we go to the beach. It's a little bit higher than this, but we'll see kind of how that goes. But overall, the towing ability of the Model Y, you didn't really feel the SeaDoo back there kind of banging around and pulling around. Again, I think it has to do with the weight of the Tesla. One thing I wish it did have is I like that the truck, I can program which trailer is behind the truck, and I can set my blind spot offset for it and stuff like that. I find that interesting with all the computer software that's in there, why they wouldn't have that on the Model Y when you can tow. I think they've got it for the Cybertruck is what I'm hearing from some other people, so why not move that software to the Model Y? It'll probably be my first suggestion once I buy one and I'm a part of the owner's club, and you can kind of suggest those things. But otherwise, hooking up the trailer was pretty simple. It's a little more difficult on his Model Y to kind of get in the hitch because the bottom of the bumper is still there. The new Model Ys, that whole area is open. That piece comes right out. So a very pleased and very fantastic trip that way. Really looking forward to getting my Model Y. We'll talk about that in a little bit in the next video around ordering and how that works. But otherwise, I apologize for kind of the slight little clickbait there on terms of the nightmare. We didn't have a nightmare with launching. All that went well, and I'm glad that it did. So there we are. Another successful box we can check off in terms of the Model Y replacing the F-150 for what I do in terms of pulling and launching my SeaDoo. So hope you're enjoying these videos. I hope you're getting something out of it in terms of maybe your journey towards the electric vehicle and whether or not you would be interested in doing that. It's going to be a bit of a shift and a bit of a switch, but I'm looking forward to it at this point. And if you want to know more about it, continue to follow along, continue to watch the videos, subscribe, and click that notification button if you'd like. And enjoy the ride. Come along for the ride.